Anti-derivative Jill.
You know, I really wish they'd let us play music up here. Make these long trips go by a lot faster.
It's against regulations.
Yeah, I never understood that.
They just don't want us having a dance party when a proximity alert goes off.
See, that's a dumb reason. Because we'd already be on our feet, ready for action.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup? Greetings and felicitations.
Hey, hello! I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 44, and where I would like to celebrate some great science fiction and just have a bit of fun on Friday. I hope you guys are having a great day. And hello to Admiral Teague. Thank you for joining me here today to talk about this UFO episode.
Jill, hello, and hello all out there in YouTube land, dear listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jill, thank you for having me. I can't wait to watch one of my favorite sci-fi shows. Sometimes it's ironic, sometimes it's serious, but it's always kind of worth your time. It's a pretty good investment of your science fiction watch time.
I think so too, but have you seen the new Futurama yet?
I have not. I'm planning on expanding into hello, Franco Walker, and everyone else out there. Oh my God, look at all our friends. I plan on expanding my entertainment options soon, but like with belt tightening going on all over the place, me getting more stuff to help people avoid bad shows just means me watching more bad shows and having less money. So I might need to leave Netflix alone. I'm thinking about it though.
Okay. It's on. Actually, Futurama's on Hulu. But hello to Franco Walker, Agent Pepsi One, and Agent Pepsi One is a big UFO fan, so she knows what's going on when she sees the title of this episode, E.S.P.
The man who fell to Earth. I mean, the man who came back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm glad you guys are here. And Canadian Spider-Man says hello and welcome, everyone. Please support
going on, buddy?
Anti-Derivative Jill and share this stream. Let's get a big crowd in here for the tea time. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Spidey is one of the best.
He really is. Love Canadian Spider-Man.
Oh, hey, James Caserta is awesome. And also Kronos. Wow.
Hello, Kronos.
And Agent
Pepsi One.
Yeah. Is a wonderful series with very imaginative writing. It's a shame it was canceled after only a single season. I know, right? I don't understand why that was the case.
Accounts vary. I only looked at the Wikipedia and I did a little bit of a research dive when I watched the show, right?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They were going to be late on their next season anyway. This was never the cleanest, most Hollywood production. I think a lot of it took place in England. Their primary contract for broadcast may have been the BBC, right? So different season lengths, different broadcast requirements, different production times. They just were never going to be on time for US TV. And when you see some of these great props, you'll understand why. I mean, they're making some incredible models. These are practical effects. These are unique from a lot of other practical effects we see later, but they're much earlier and they're groundbreaking. And you know, I guess the one thing we should all keep in mind is we pronounce the word UFO in this show, but I guess we all know that already.
Yeah, they do. You pronounce it. They do in the episode pronounce it UFO, which is why I say that myself, even though if I talk about it the same thing in America, because I'm an American, I will say UFO, but I like to follow the convention of whatever show I'm watching.
Yeah, I like to call it both interchangeably. I usually say UFO, and I guess everyone kind of knows, but we'll say it anyway. Because the show was late, it doesn't get renewed in America. They don't go forward with it. Something or another happens, and then we see some of the same people and a lot of the same concepts at work on what is an indirect non-sequel Space 1999, which is also a decent show.
Right, they use a lot of the same props for Space 1999, and one of the reasons I hear that they switched to that show is because a lot of
People only
people loved the part where they were on the moon and all the space stuff, and they didn't want to do any more of the Earth stuff.
what they were told was people only liked the moon.
But I loved
They
all
get
of it.
you know what? My bar for UFO, although I do enjoy when it's really good, sometimes just this is my bar, and I think you know what I'm going to say, don't you? The three things that I need for UFO to really be good.
Oh, you need Straker smoking a cigar?
No, one of his very small cigarettes. What he has, like undersized, very small cigarettes. They're healthful cigarettes because it's futuristic 1980. I need him to drive his strange car. I love that. It's brown. It's a great car. Now Straker I never have to even mention this one. Straker has to be impeccably dressed. He's always dressed just great. The Straker outfits are absolutely amazing. And the excitement you get at the look of a Botany 500 futuristic outfit. I can't tell you how much I enjoy that. And of course, I don't think Straker himself partakes, but he's got like a fully stocked future bar, and he'll turn that on, and like it'll auto mix you a drink, or you'll be able to mix yourself one. Accounts vary as to how that happens too.
Yeah, he doesn't drink much, but he will toast with Freeman if it's a thing that they got to do. He'll do it for those type of reasons.
Yeah, he's not a booze hound. He doesn't sit at his desk pounding like Admiral Picard in Fake Trek does now. But like when it's time for a drink, he'll drink. But the thing is, this is a show set in futuristic 1980 from 1969 and 1970. The writing and production process, I would assume, right? Because the run ends in 1970.
Yeah, it's 1970. It starts in 70. Yeah.
It starts. So I don't know. I don't know if they, it doesn't really matter whether they were last few weeks of the 60s or the beginning of the 70s when they start making this. It has a particular feel, that a particular vision of the future. And they definitely thought we were going to get there a lot faster than we did.
The official run for UFO is 1970 to 1971.
Okay.
And hello to Sean Carter. He has a wonderful channel where he builds models of starships and lots of cool stuff. And also hello to Kronos asking anyone liking Strange New Worlds. I don't know. I haven't been really watching it. I saw the cartoon one, and that's it.
Appion and myself, and for one of them, I think Captain Fandom Nerd was with us. We and Hi Cap, we endured. And Kronos is sometimes there with us too, which is great. And the chat, and Franco Walker comes by, and James is there, and we try to have fun with it. But the 3 episodes in 7 days, took a real toll on myself and on Appion. Like by the end of it, it's like we were just like our minds were so bent in so many different directions because Strange New Worlds, like they realize they can't stay consistent to their lore. So usually we shake up reality with a few like narrative flashbangs is the only way to put it. So we never know how many dreams deep we are, hallucinations, dimensional shifts, wormholes in time. It's the kitchen sink, and we never know for sure. I'm still not sure when the present is.
Well, in New Trek now, cartoons are also reality, so whatever. I don't really care.
They pulled the cheap. Well, here's the thing about that cartoon, and I'm sorry, people that I know about this, but wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't check it out. The cartoon takes place contemporaneous to the events of TNG and Deep Space Nine, right? So,
well, it is set around those times, but it's not Star Trek, so I don't know.
Right. Neither is Strange New Worlds.
I don't know what New Trek TNG looks like.
Neither is
nothing like the real TNG.
How about I put it this way? When fake TNG meets up with fake pre-TOS in the form of fake The Cage in fake Star Trek show Strange New Worlds, just so everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's so lazily written. Guess what they use to breach the 220-year time gap between the two shows? Because
they go
Strange
through a
New
portal.
Is there.
They go to some ancient portal that's discovered by Orions.
It's a gate. A gate between a gate between stars. A Stargate, if you would. It looks exactly like one. There has been no effort made to differentiate it from a Stargate. It's
Well,
not the
usually when
Guardian
you
of
time
Forever.
travel, it's not the Guardian Forever, but usually when you time travel with the Stargate, you have to use the sun, like a solar flare
Well, this
mass
Stargate has one
ejection.
aperture that kind of falls off at a strange angle and spins the other way too. So
But
they,
this no,
it's
but I'm not
25%
looking at
different.
this show for any kind of scientific reality or anything, and so it doesn't have any of that. It doesn't
Um,
explain
I just
how the
I would just
gate
call it
time
derivative.
travels.
I'm just saying that that's really derivative. Like however Stargate does travel, what they've done is mashed it together with the Guardian of Forever. Do you know what I'm saying? It looks like a Stargate, it works like a Stargate, but when they go through it, like they TARDIS like shoot from between like one time to another, and he just so happens to get there when the people from the other show are on the other side. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. No, not at all. It
It's not Star
the
Trek.
no, of course it's not Star Trek, but it is. It was kind of. I don't know. I felt like it was kind of it if you go into it knowing it's not Star Trek, it was a little bit kind of fun because I kind of like the actor for Boimler, but I felt like the show was congratulating itself too much, like as if it were the original series and as if these people really were the ones that we grew up with or love and everything. But I guess
There,
they have to do
there
that because I wouldn't want them to actually have the TOS crew. That would be even worse to mix,
I'm not.
new Trek with real Trek. So
I don't know what to tell you. Like it's hard to say if a near miss would have been better, but this misses by continents.
mhm. Oh, Cronus says I'm rather late. Yes, I was. Also, Agent Pepsi One says I have 4 days of professional development, and then following Monday, the Hellions arrive. Oh, right, Agent Pepsi One is a teacher, so yes, good luck, Agent Pepsi One.
Good luck, Agent Pepsi One. The future belongs to the young. So thanks for helping shape the future. Maybe our first spacefaring generation or true spacefaring generation.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be too far away.
Well, it's being worked on, but we'll see how it goes. James Caserta says I got an incomplete. Then when I was asked about it, she gave me an F instead. Oh no. Are you going to school right now, or are you talking about the past, James Caserta? Mark Harkness says Val Kilmer's first role as rock star Nick Rivers. Nick was named after a shaving accident.
Is that in
Mhm.
not Real Genius? What was the one that's done by J.J. Abrams' dad? It's by the people who did Airplane. Top Secret. Top Secret.
Oh, is that what that is?
He was a rock star who sings a song called Skeet Surfing, where it's about shooting skeet while surfing. So he's surfing and firing a shotgun throughout the song, which is well done.
Hello, pop culture curator. I'm so glad you decided to stop by. Hello. Oh, and yeah, Franka Walker says I watched Top Secret last month.
A classic. A classic.
Oh, and here's where I started the stream. And hello to Canadian Spider-Man. I know I said hi to you already. But hello again. Also, Tiki of Doom.
I agree. What did Cybok do that was so bad? He tried to help people with their pain.
Right. He was just he was like a televangelist.
He was, and that's so of that year, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was exactly what he was modeled as. Agent Pepsi One says, "Has anyone seen that last episode of SNW? I was surprised by the
Yes.
acting. Writing is still horrid." Yeah, that is the problem with it. Is that it's not really the actor's fault necessarily. It's the writing. It's the direction. It's everything else.
If I could just take a second here, I don't know who heard this on my show, but I started following. I do my homework, right? I follow the people who do the show. I follow the show writers, and worst of all, I watch the Ready Room with Will Wheaton. So I mean,
Why do you do that?
Because
You must hate yourself.
I do, and because their story isn't really part of their story. So because of that, I have absolutely no choice but to go and check out the Ready Room with Will Wheaton to get the stuff that they leave out that they don't put in their story, and also like check out leaks from the game because these people cannot cleanly tell a story and never have been able to. But
Right, they have to explain themselves later, like as if you should have known it all along.
okay,
Because they're not good storytellers, and so they just over explain later. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
it makes no sense that there's always 77 Easter eggs that mean you were too dumb to watch Star Trek right. That is no way to get people to think you have a smart show. What I watch on screen is dumb. I don't care that Spock has the same instrument that was given him for musical therapy by war criminal Dr. Mabanga. I don't care about unethical horror story human being Dr. Mabanga. I don't. I want him in jail where he belongs. He should be on the Tantalus colony. He
No, he
should be.
doesn't. He didn't give him that. Spock had that lyre way before we ever see him in
Not
Manga.
anymore.
Because he plays it with the her while she sings and everything. It's great.
No, you don't understand. The person who gave him the lyre was actually Dr. Mabanga. He's not a very good actor, but by whispering, he's able to sound like he knows what he's talking about.
Oh my god.
This is the hell that is my. You know what? We have fun on my channel. Please don't get the wrong impression. And we do a lot of other stuff, but somebody has to watch Strange New Worlds. And thanks to Appion,
I'm glad it's not me. I watched one. That was enough this season.
Have you heard the clip where Appion, myself, and Fletcher are just overcome with laughter and can't make sense of what's going on because we can't breathe? I tweeted that one out today. There's so many points at the end of that show where we have to or during that show where we have to pause it and laugh because it's
that's
so
incredible
stupid
to me that you're able to do a show and actually talk about the show you're watching and still be able to pay attention to it while you're talking and the show's going on and everything. So that takes a lot of multitasking skill.
It's only as good as an episode of Batwoman as far as substance. In the 1 hour, we get about 15 minutes of story, maybe 10. The whole season, there's only been about 8 or 9 minutes that have really mattered. Very, very significant events that were set into motion. Episode 1 have not happened. We know they're not happening in this next episode. It's a musical. So there's a Gorn attack ship like heading towards the Federation that we only saw on the tactical screen. Do they even remember? We'll find out, and we'll have a lot of laughs doing it because we have fun on.
They're bringing the xenomorphs back. Okay, the xenomorphs.
They might what you know it and I know it. They only every episode of Strange New Worlds has its own timeline now. Forget about season to season. Now that they have to go episodic, every episode's a new timeline that happens in a pocket dimension where Star Trek-like people exist. It may or may not have anything to do. It may or may not have anything to do with anything else Star Trek. But I mean, today we're watching Galaxy Quest, so how bad could that be?
Yeah, Galaxy Quest is great. I freaking love Galaxy Quest. That is the most wonderful Star Trek that doesn't have the label Star Trek. I love it so much.
It's team building day. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, Dalek451 says Futurama is on Hulu, where you are, but it's on Disney Plus as part of Star over here, and Dalek's over here is in England. Yeah, he lives in the UK.
I was very pleased to get to meet Dalek on here a while back. Great guy.
Oh yeah, he's Dalek. If you want to, Jerry Anderson, if you want to join the panel, watch this episode with us. Well, I'm not actually watching the episode. I just have slides. I don't do the watch party thing.
We gave Plomeek tea. Go ahead.
Sean Carter says, before you get to the episode, Joe, I was wondering, in your mind, what does Plomeek's soup taste like? In my head, I imagine a spicy tomato-like soup with lots of vegetable broth. Yes, I think it would be something like that, of course, with Vulcan vegetables, whatever analog for Vulcan vegetables that you have that are similar to that are savory. But from watching Voyager, I know that there is not a heck of a lot of spiciness to the Plomeek soup, except when Neelix makes it.
I can only imagine Tuvok having to deal with that. I have put up with your Plomeek soup for the last time. Neelix.
Well, he has. Oh, maybe you haven't gotten
um,
to that one yet. I know you're watching it.
I am up to like the middle of season 4 now. I'm gonna have to circle back a few times to catch some key stuff, but we finally have the captain has her short bobbed hair, and she's just as inconsistent as could be week to week. I mean, for the most part, she's resolute, and I do appreciate that whatever flaws Voyager had, they always go to planets and explore. They rarely don't, and also that she always seems like the captain of that ship, even when she's like, I'm going to kill someone for no reason. And they're like, all right, Captain, no problem. We're behind you. And it doesn't make sense, but she pulls it off.
Well, Voyager has some issues with kind of being more science fantasy rather than science fiction, but it remembers what Star Trek is, and it follows pretty much the main concept of exploration and teamwork and all that kind of good stuff that we're looking for.
It might not be as good of a show as Deep Space Nine at its heights, but I think that it never bottoms out as low as some of the bad Deep Space Nines.
It
I
tries to
think
be
that it
fun,
tends to be more
and
entertaining.
that's the
Yes.
biggest thing with Voyager is it wants
You know
you to have a good time.
You know what could have saved Voyager if instead of baseball, Cisco loved Captain Proton? Because every Captain Proton episode, I'm like, this is great. I fucking love. I want to see
Yeah.
it just a Captain Proton show on its own.
Right. Yeah, that's that. Me too. That is some good stuff. Franco Walker says because the moon bits were so popular, UFO was made into Space 1999. Yeah.
Correct, sir.
Exactly. That is the general consensus that I hear when I hear about it. Captain Fandom Nerd, hey, he's here. That's great.
The story I heard was the network was when they were talking about doing more UFO. They're like, people tend to like the moon. And he's like, well, then I could blow up the moon and get it out of my show. And they're like, no, you're not getting what we're saying. We're saying it show's got problems except for the moon. He goes, then I'll blow up the entire Earth and have just the moon. And they're like, no, come up with something else. That's the story.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the pilot of Space 1999 has a significant problem. If there was an explosion on the dark side of the moon propelling the moon forward, where would it go?
Where would the moon go? The moon is.
If propelled forward from the dark side.
It depends on how. It depends on how much force you propel it and in which direction.
Enough to break orbit.
Well, that means destruction for all life on Earth because life on Earth has evolved to be able to survive only with this moon, and without it, our tides would be messed up. So Earth would be screwed. But the moon
we
would
might be
still
able
a
to.
moon.
We might be able to survive if we all run for high ground. Like it would take hundreds of years for civilization to build back. But no, what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
is
we'd have to
since
worry about all the weather. The weather changes would be insane. We
It'd
might
be
have another
massive.
ice age.
we might not
We'd
have a
live
pole.
much more primitively if we survive at all.
I for one look forward to it. But what happens is they have a lot of atomic waste in the back of the moon, and it blows up, right? So considering that the waste dump is on the dark side of the moon, right, and we only see the light side of the moon, if you had an explosion propelling the moon forward from behind towards the direction the light was coming from, it's almost definitely going to hit us. And Roland Emmerich basically has a movie about that. That's my one
What's
issue with
called?
Space 1999.
That sounds
Moonfall.
great. Moonfall. Okay, I'm gonna type that in. I need
It's
to
only
remember that for later.
that movie's okay until like the end. It doesn't fly towards the Earth because of an explosion. Something akin to the Force brings it here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Philip Gaming is here. Hello. I failed math a few times in college, not my strong suit. And so, math wasn't my subject either until I got to college, and I had to I started in pre-calculus in college, and I decided to become a math tutor to get better at math, and it worked. I had to get up on the board and show people how to do their homework, and I just threw myself into the fire and I got better at it.
I hope people won't think any less of me if I say I came up with an intricate method for cheating. I'm really bad at math.
Yeah, well, I was too until I practiced. It just took a lot of practice, and I eventually ended up with a math minor once I graduated with along with my computer science degree. But if you figured out a way to get through it, more power to you.
Kind of hard not being able to see the numbers in order when you're dyslexic.
Yeah, I could see that being an issue. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. I'm sorry. You had
With
that.
words, I have context. I see Jill. I know it's not JLLI. You know what I mean? I know it's
Hmm.
JIIL. I can remember what a word is. Like with you give me a random string of numbers. Like supposed to have a photographic memory for numbers. Like yeah, no, sorry. I cheated.
Well, that's understandable. And I want to say hello to Donnie. Don Ranger Power. Great to see you. Oh, I didn't read your comment though. Hope everyone is well despite the passing of Sinead O'Connor. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Rest in peace. Is let's see. Just a moment.
You know what? In the weirdest of coincidences, we all know where I live, right? So I saw Sinead O'Connor perform, and the next night she
Oh
was in a. I saw her perform on a Friday. The next night was a Saturday. Guess what happened the next night? She tore up that picture of the Pope on TV, and I saw her the night before. So like something like 24 hours or less after I saw the end of her concert wrap, her career explodes like 5 miles away from where I saw her. And,
mm,
I guess I saw her at the peak of her peak of her peak because the next day she fell off a cliff, and it was very sad what happened to Sinead O'Connor. I thought she was a great
wow.
talent, and I loved her music.
Well, okay, so she sings I Just Know Nothing Compares.
That's a Prince song. Her song is Mandinka. If you want to hear a great song by Sinead O'Connor,
Uh-huh.
or really any song but that one, if
Any
you
song but that one.
well, no, that's a good song. But the thing is, she's not the songwriter of it.
It's
She
a
just does the
it's
most.
just it's a cover. It's a good cover then.
It's a really great cover, and it's a little bit different than the original. And Prince helped
Mhm.
her out with it. It has his approval. It was not like
Oh,
done
well,
in a
see, there you
bad
go. It
way.
wasn't like she stole it or anything. So that is
No,
really
he's
great.
part of it. He's part of it. And the thing is that is a great song, but we shouldn't lose track of the songs on Lion and the Cobra. And I
I
do not
know.
want what I have not got that Sinead O'Connor wrote herself. Some of the people in her
Mhm.
band were from Bow Wow Wow, I Want Candy, and Adam and the Ants. She had a very talented backup group, but Sinead O'Connor, a once in a lifetime voice and a once in a lifetime talent. It's very, very, very sad.
Mhm. And Philip Gaming is correct here. Yeah. Yeah, it is very sad. I'm sorry to hear about her loss. Mm, I'll have to get into her discography and check it out. But Philip Gaming says Cybot kidnapped several people, almost started an intergalactic war, and stole a freaking Federation's ship. Yeah, that was pretty crazy how he was able to steal the ship. Like all 400 people were just like, okay, go ahead. We're all brainwashed by you somehow. Don Power Ranger says I don't mind horrible writings to be honest. Yeah, we know, Donnie. I'm so glad you're here. Agent Pepsi One says the actors that played the cartoon Lois Deck characters were amazing. They were so annoying, so obnoxious. They deserved an Emmy.
I would agree with that. And I'd also say, why get hung up on Star Trek Five when it was just a dream? Just a dream.
Yeah, most of it was just a dream, except for the parts in Yellowstone were real.
That parts in Yellowstone were real, but you know what? I will hide behind Doomcock on that one. Doomcock also believes it was a dream. So if you want it defended, check out Doomcock's Patreon. Admiral Teague, not in the business of doing that. Although I do Star Trek theories, but my thing is more the Nexus.
Yeah, yeah,
I
right.
know we
On
won't talk
Doomcock's
about it.
Patreon. on Doomcock's Patreon, you can listen to audio commentary for all of Star Trek V, where he discusses how it's a dream, and I love it, and I think it's a wonderful theory.
It's a wonderful
And
theory, and it bails out a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, a movie with charm, a movie I have love for Star Trek V, but it makes so much more sense, and it's such a better movie if it's just a dream.
It is for me too, not for everyone, but for me. The theory isn't canon, but it sure helps. Mark Harkness says, "Remember, it takes adults to create adult stories and characters." Yeah, that's true, and people have to grow up first, and not just physically, also mentally. And some people stay. They only grow physically, and they don't learn from any types of mistakes or take any responsibility. So their writing comes across as juvenile, and that's what we're getting quite a bit
That
these
would be
days.
that would be Strange New Worlds writing staff, and also the writing staff of Secret Invasion. What a terrible show! Appian and I reviewed it, and I kind of watched most of it while we were talking about it. It was just it was slow, it was dumb, like objective problems that pull your mind out of it. Like, even if you're cool with Amelia Clark's arm turning into Drax's arm from Guardians of the Galaxy, like, and it bursts out of her leather jacket, and she's like, I'm going to beat you down now. It's like, all right, okay, I can relate to this. When her arm retransforms back, her jacket reheals itself. I'm like, huh? It was just like a lot of little, like, not only were there big problems with the story, but they threw a million little things. I think they nickeled and dimed you to death with you couldn't get immersed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, something was always taking you out of it, or is what you're saying?
I am. Well, according to, I'll say it the way it was said. Disparu, who I always enjoy, the Rotten Tomatoes for episode 6 was only 12%, making it the lowest rated show in all of the Marvel MCU on Disney Plus ever. So this was the worst episode of anything ever that they've done.
I haven't watched any Marvel TV show. I've skipped out on most of that. There was Endgame, and there was Guardians of the Galaxy.
People were tweeting apologies. People are actually tweeting apologies to the earlier shows that they were too harsh on them because this one is so bad. And those earlier shows are unapologetically terrible.
It's really a shame because Samuel L. Jackson is so cool. He doesn't deserve this.
His working retirement is lucrative. He's 74 years old. He didn't care.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
And you can tell there is some moments. Well, no, some moments he actually acts, right? I think there's like a bunch of callback shoots. We figured it out. It was $835,000 a minute.
Yeah,
because it was it was something like 300 minutes,
and just
something
to be clear,
like
I haven't
$200
watched
million.
So I'm taking all of your word on all of this.
Okay, I'm not here on a limb on this. You can listen to me and Appian talk about it on my Rumble or his channel, but we watched, I watched all of it while we talked about it, and we did the budget, and it was reported at $212 million. So what I did was I added up approximately the minute count and
the whole TV show, or just that one episode?
The 6 episodes altogether, the whole TV show. So we got a count of like something like whatever 350 minutes or something like that was how long the show was, and we divided that by $212 million, whatever the number. We worked it out on the air. Like, we did the calculations on the air and read them back. They're checkable. It seems to be about $815 or $830 million, $830,000 per minute. But that's, like a bargain compared to Rings of Power was like, what, $1.1 million a minute, according to, was it Mexican Iron Man who reported that figure?
Yeah, if you just want to divide up how expensive something is, you really see how much it is by making those divisions, because the numbers are so big, it's not really fathomable for us until you break it down that way. So that's pretty smart. Cool move.
It was a great matrix, and hats off to Mexican Iron Man for coming up with it. It wasn't my idea. I stand in the backs of giants with that one. But like when we put it that way, both Appian and I were momentarily stunned because we were like, let's look at this frame right now. Does it feel like it's worth almost $1 million? Does it feel like the next 59 seconds can bail the rest of this out? And it was just, we kept coming up with no.
I wonder when they're going to get back to focusing on the writing first and then making the special effects, and then figuring out how to create the show.
The writing came first if you consider that all they really cared about was the message.
Well, there you go. Then that's not fun though. That's not entertaining.
18%. 18% out of 100 fun, according to Rotten Tomatoes for episode 6.
Wow, that's not good. Philip Gaming says Tim Allen is canceled by Hollywood, though. I don't know if there will be a Galaxy Quest 2. Maybe the Hollywood elites will make an exception for the film. Well, but without Alan Rickman, I don't really know if it's even possible to have a good sequel.
It might be too late.
He was the backbone of that movie.
I loved him in that. Now, I'm not saying that the rest of the cast doesn't have the talent. You know,
here's what me neither. I'm not saying that either. He's just really important.
You know what? Between you and me, Jill, if they make a Galaxy Quest 2, I don't think they'll ever be able to ruin one. And if it's decent and fun, I have an appetite for it. So, like, Galaxy Quest 1 from 30 years ago is going to be a classic 30 years from now. People are going to say, Galaxy Quest, like, oh, that show that was about Star Trek. And everyone's going to know. It's going to be, if this one is bad, it'll be like Matrix, what was it, 4? Right? The one that no one cares about.
Yeah, no, and no one will ever mention it. And they'll be the one.
People have mentally moved on from that, and they've mentally moved on from Tross. They seem to have mentally moved on from Star Wars. I cannot get any engagement. It's like 1/3 what I usually get. And when we talk about it for too long, like people quit. If you just talk Star Wars for too long, Star Trek and Star Wars and Disney for too long, people just don't want to listen to it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm happy with the original 3 movies. Agent Pepsi.
I would be willing to go 6. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 6 definitely. But I've only ever watched the prequels once, so I'm not as invested. Agent Pepsi says my husband. The third one, what? Huh?
The third prequel is so good that it's about as good as Return of the Jedi. I say just watch that one again. Give it one more shot. It's really good.
Sure.
It's really good. Sorry, go ahead with Agent Pepsi 1's comment. I apologize, Agent Pepsi 1.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. My husband likes Nurse Chapel on SNW. He has a thing for tall blondes.
May I get myself in trouble now?
Sure, go ahead.
Listen, everybody, I love Jess Bush, and I think she's sweet. And the fact that she's Australian and does that accent so convincingly means that she has a lot of talent. But when we see her out of character, out of costume, and anything but the outfit they make her wear, which is basically a onesie, that outfit, it doesn't make her look very good. No female character on that show is filmed well or is styled well. And by following Melissa Navia, who's Ortegas, the most confrontational, radical-looking character, you know what I found out? After going through the tragedy of losing the boyfriend that she had been living with for like a decade, and she primarily lives in Ireland. I don't know if you knew that. She's not a confrontational or really loud or angry person, but she posted something on Twitter about how she had lost another show because the Star Trek production schedule was so bad. And then you factor in the fact that they only are doing it half as fast as they promised. So all of her time is booked out for half the pay. And poor Melissa, and she said she can't work after she plays Ortegas because of what they do to her hair. She has to wait for a while.
Oh my goodness.
Should I do it?
Hey, hello to the Godfather. I'm glad to see you here.
What's up, Guts?
There's a little thing I usually do when I hop on people's shows, and I hope you don't mind.
Little pig, let me in.
How you doing, Joe?
Not by the hair of my chin.
Not
okay.
bad.
I don't mind. I don't mind a little fairy tales. I like
it's
fairy
Negan. It's Negan in the woods.
So I heard I'm in for some interesting stuff today. I almost missed this, but thankfully traffic wasn't that bad. So
I'm so glad you made it. And hello to Tyron Lethbridge. He says, "Good day, guys. Weird. I don't do an Australian accent, so I'm not going to try. Weird. I get the alert for the show on my phone, but not on my laptop. How are we all today?"
I can validate that is true with YouTube. You will not get the you'll be on about 5-6 minutes before the laptop alert goes out, which is why I've taken this sort of circling around for the first couple of minutes and letting people kind of show up. before I really start getting into things that people need to understand to go forward. I give it like a minute or two before I really get down to it. But yeah, it seems like it takes about 2 minutes, maybe a little more, for the desktop notification to go on, at least on Windows 11.
Mm-hmm. Agent Pepsi One says, "Wait. Originally, UFO was going to have a season 2 with an enlarged space station. It depends on the vector that the moon accelerated on." Oh, right. Yeah,
Well, oh,
exactly.
yes. I would just
That
say this.
definitely is true. Like where the moon goes depends on the physics with which it is propelled.
Let's just say it glances off the Earth in a glancing blow. SETI Alpha 4 exploded. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be good.
Could be.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
kind of like the sun.
Possibly.
When that thing goes out, we're going to have a lot of problems.
Definitely. And it's not just the fact that the sun is going to be gone. It's that it's going to get really big and engulf probably all of the rocky planets. So
Well, that's what I like, though, because the sun is my favorite planet. Jill got you.
I learned that from somewhere, but
It's from Saturday Night Live. It's Phil Hartman is Harry Carey. He's like, "What's your favorite planet?" Mine's the sun.
Right. Yeah. Somebody sent me the link to that bit.
And Jeff Goldblum is like the astrophysicist, and he just looks at him. He's like, "Yeah, okay." Anyway,
Philip Gaiman says we already graded each other, Don, but I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, Don is always very concerned with how everyone's doing. That's so sweet.
He always asks me how I'm doing. He is the nicest guy, and he's allowed to like. He's the one person on the planet who has Admiral Teague's absolute permission. I'm carving out a rule, exception to my rule for Donnie Pearson. You're allowed to like Strange New Worlds. No one else though. No one else can enjoy it.
Yeah, because Donnie, he hangs out with so many people that he disagrees with, and I think that is so amazing that he's.
Can we all be more like him?
Able to do that. If more people could be like Donnie, the world would be a better place.
I'm going to say right now, Admiral Teague's belief is that this is a big enough final frontier for everybody. Shows that want to do procedural Star Trek, shows that want to do like indulge on theories on Star Trek. One of my biggest subscribers is like a somewhat pro Star Trek channel where like the guys on NerdTube are okay. They're not bad dudes. They're a little bit realistic in their ratings, but they've accepted it as Star Trek, which is the tension between me and them. Although there's no personal rancor, I like them. I think they put on a good show.
I haven't listened to that channel, but I don't mind listening to differing opinions.
It's only new track.
So long as they don't start attacking the fans, that's the thing that bugs me if that happens.
These guys are so nice. It gets me past my problem with their point of view and my problem with them accepting it as Trek. If you're out there and you're someone who accepts this new Trek as Star Trek, I'm not your enemy, but I will kind of encourage you to want more from them.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know you could jump in. So half the people I work with, I almost always disagree with, but it's just that people can disagree and be civil about it rather than just being a-holes like, oh, how dare you disagree.
Yeah, exactly. And Donnie is the epitome of being able to
class.
The example of
class.
Of how
He's got
to do
class.
That. He does.
He knows how to be nice to everybody. He doesn't make a lot of apologies for his beliefs, and he'll make concessions to reality. He's like, yeah, I just like it, which is always a great reason.
I love it anyway.
You know what? He's never been wrong about how he feels in his own opinion, right?
Speaking of his own opinion, Dalek says, my God, am I the only person who didn't like Captain Proton and Voyager? It was so stupid.
It was stupid. That was kind of part of it. But Dalek, you also can't be wrong about your own opinions, Dalek. That's cool. Yeah, no, I like Captain Proton. Maybe you need to see it 3 or 4 times because some are better than others. They use it a lot, though. There might be a bad Captain Proton out there that makes everybody else dislike the other ones. I just haven't seen it yet. I love that his sidekick, the female sidekick, all she does is scream. She has no other lines.
And Sean Carter says, okay, geek time. Technically, it's the far side of the moon. If it were the dark side, it would mean that the moon is tidally locked to the orbit of the sun.
Right. Okay. They're not that specific in Space 1999.
And Tyron Lethbridge says, Rennie has the math brain in this house. Oh, yeah. Say hello to Rennie for me.
Oh, Rennie. Your
There you
father's
go.
wrong about me leaving the vineyard, Rennie.
And Donnie says that he's more of an easy math person. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get started somewhere. And don't get Kronos started on quadratic equations. Negative b plus or minus the square root of 4ac.
I respect your ability to
over
do that
2a.
so much. It's something it's like magic that I can never understand, honestly.
I might have got the equation a little wrong. It's been a while since I used it.
My old enemy, math.
It's so good that
Oh, I was gonna say the only reason why I hate it is because I have to figure out, in terms of volumes of like gallon, liter, whatever, but volumetric water, how long it's gonna take based upon what I'm working on, how hot it gets for it to generate steam, and about when I have to start worrying about doing something about that. So yeah, I'd rather just plug it in and see what happens.
Well, sure, if you have a way to calculate it without having to do it by hand, but sometimes I like to do both just to see if I get the same answer. Franco Walker says, I failed maths. The teacher gave me an F minus. He invented the grade just for me. I even went to after school lessons. Yeah, that's what happens on Saturday Night Star Trek, is that some episodes are so bad they get an F minus, even though it doesn't really matter. If you get an F, it's an F, whether it's a 59 or a 12.
You know, Appion, I know I got a chance to talk and hang out a little bit with our pal Carla Burton after the Lego build with Steve. And I was like, just kind of monitoring clobbering times in the background. And I just said in the super chat, it's like, I want everyone to remember I said it first. She's capped it insane way. It's like, we're only up to episode 1. Someone needs to establish that one right now.
Well, that's really great that you were supporting clobbering times. I love his channel.
I love clobbering times. I wish I had time
He's
to
a great
listen
guy.
more.
If
I was
may.
listening last night for a while. Go ahead.
So about Franco, so just remember, everybody has a weak subject, even if you no longer are weak at that. But just remember, if you do really bad at something, that's not the measure of who you are. So no matter what, somebody is really insanely good at something and bad at something. So I have a feeling you've done a lot better since then, but never worry about if you're bad at
Yeah, that's
one
right.
subject.
We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and it's good to focus on what you are good at and to bone up on that and be even better at it. I like that. We all have our value.
I just saw the comment about Lion and the Cobra. It's true. It's not mixed that well, but I think that there's a remixed version from like the early 21st century that you can get where they fix it a little bit more.
That's cool. And Franco Walker says, oh, yeah.
It's just maybe I should stop going to concerts. I saw Sinead O'Connor and she did that the next day. And then I saw Black Sabbath and that was the last show. And then Dio died. I should probably stop. I think it was probably my fault.
No, it was not your fault. You didn't kill Dio. What are you talking about?
Well, actually, no, a Ferengi time traveler killed Dio. I simply failed to save him.
Okay. And Franco Walker says Star Trek V was a nightmare, not a dream.
We didn't say it was a great dream.
I thought it was pretty good for a dream. It kind of follows. It's like Captain Kirk is having an episode in his head of all of the Star Trek episodes in a very weird order. But it's I think it's all right.
Since this is your show, since this is your Star Trek show, I think I'll do something that sometimes people do and just make the make the obvious comment. Man, that Romulan ambassador, oh my God, was I breaking a sweat in the movie theater. I was hot and bothered by the Romulan ambassador. Wow, was she pretty.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's always okay to appreciate an actress in a movie.
I appreciated her.
Chrono says Scotty knew his ship like the back of his hand.
And then he walked into a beam.
Oh, yeah. And so that's how you know it's a dream. Scotty knows the ship like the back of his hand, so it makes no sense that he'd walk into a beam.
Littered throughout the movie, there are hints that it's definitely a dream. The biggest hint is when you don't like the story by the middle of it and you're starting to balk at the logic towards the end. That's when you know it's a dream. And when the man who made the bionic woman shows up as God, that's when you're sure.
So, Tyron Lethbridge says, I think Samuel L. Jackson really came into his own with snakes on a plane. He's just joking.
It's an atypical role for him. He doesn't destroy the plane like he does the Jedi or S.H.I.E.L.D.
Donnie says, speaking of Anson Mount, I created an AI voice model of him in the kits.ai website. Wow. Yeah, people are making voice models and having them say their own, whatever they want them to say. It's so strange.
Since you mentioned his voice, I'm just going to say this. The uninspired reading of Space, the Final Frontier by Anson Mount, I don't blame Anson Mount. When told to read it, if I was a person of his stature, I would have tried to get out of it. I would have said, I don't want to read William Shatner's speech. He's one of the greatest speaking voices in all of television.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart in his time as well. Sorry, go ahead.
I felt weird having to read it myself, but my friend wanted me to say it, and I did.
Anson Mount was absolutely right to read it with no emotion. I don't blame him. It's like Space, the Final Frontier. It's like they put a gun to his head. But the reason that they have to have that sequence, you know why, right, Jill?
Well, because they're pretending they're Star Trek.
No, because they need an opening sequence with minimal effort music to show off the names of the 23 producers, 2 writers, and 5 cast members. 23 producers, Jill. That's the sign of a good show.
Oh, Appion says, hail, Jill, and hail, Teague. Hail, Chad, as well. Hey, Appion's here. That's cool.
We've got, in a way, everyone. This is like kind of what you get sometimes on Saving Star Trek is what I call the tag team. Teague, Appion, and Goatfather.
Yeah. Oh, and James Caserta says, do you do any impressions or sing, Jill? No, that is not in my toolbox at the moment. Not saying I'm never going to learn how to do these things, but right now.
She does a good imitation of Mirror, Jill.
Oh, I mean, for impersonations, we got Tony Stark.
That's true.
Right.
We've got plenty of other people for that.
And we have myself as elderly Picard.
I didn't ask for you. Go back to your cage.
Oh, Jill, because you're a woman, I will not argue.
Sandra,
your femininity has convinced me. Hello, Sandra. Sorry, Jill. Go ahead. I love when I get to extreme with you. You're the best.
That's hilarious. Corona says, now I have to watch Star Trek 2 again. Yeah, Wrath of Khan.
That's no chore.
That's always a good idea.
That is the highlight of my week every week.
Oh, and Sandra Feliciano's here. That's so great to hear from you.
Thank you for taking the time for sending us that message. She can't respond to everybody, I'll have you all know, but she's with us here in spirit, and we say hello to you, Sandra. It's so great that you're out there.
Yeah, I hope you and Raymond are doing well.
We're doing our best to be up to the task of entertaining you, and everyone else has been so kind as to join us.
And Matt G is here. Rennie is a decent cook. Yes. Oh, yeah. Rennie is making pasta with garlic.
And guys, I apologize. I'm not in the chat, but I'm on a different device, and I don't have access to my full account like I do on my show. So greetings to all of you personally. I wish I could be in the chat as well. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. I'm here. Mark Harkness says, plug for another short-lived show that was better than the ratings. Space Above and Beyond. I'll be a son of a bitch if I go to your funeral, Ty. Yes, you will. But we'll talk about your mother when I get back.
Oh, you know who I think said that line? Fox Mulder himself. The thing that said is that Space Above and Beyond was a better show. The good news is because it got canceled, that guy went back and said, let me come up with a better idea. And we got the X-Files.
And wait, David Duchovny had to do with...
He was in Space Above and Beyond at least one episode or two. He was like a fighter pilot.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, he's really young. This show has some of the same people and some of the same writers as X-Files. It was pretty good. It just
didn't they also make a spinoff called The Lone Gunman?
That's an X-Files spinoff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right, but Space Above and Beyond apparently does not exist in the universe of the X-Files.
Oh, and I totally forgot. Why do Americans say it like that? In the UK, we say maths with an S, maths. It just feels weird to say maths because we don't say, I get why you guys do it because the full word is mathematics. So you say maths. Your way makes sense. It's just I'm American and I'm used to math.
Isn't it mathemat eggs in Scottish. I believe it is honest. In Scottish, in the Scottish language, but yeah, I understand why you guys say maths. The other thing is, we say drug addict, they say drugs addict. We say supremacist, they say supremacist, and there's some other words I can think of I won't say. But yeah, two people separated by a common language, and Dalek 451 for sure knows that Admiral Teague is shortened from a longer European way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we like they like their extra letters. They put flavor.
Yeah.
You can count on
the
flavor
and the
in
color.
your spelling. They'll do you a favor and give you some flavor if you harbor some color for their language.
Hello to Christian Fandom Geek. My powers have doubled since we last met. Oh, nice.
Is that to me?
I have no idea.
Twice the pride, the greater the fall.
Cinema Gulp. Hey, Ben. The X-Files was almost the best show of all time, in my opinion. It got its own way trying to close out the conspiracy storylines. And you know what? Speaking of UFOs, let's switch to UFO. And let's get through this episode before I completely forget about it and all the fun we're having.
I've just got my checklist out here. Does Stryker wear brown or any earth tone?
So,
okay, it's a winner already.
Well, see, this is just this doesn't count because this is the song. This is the theme song.
Now, here's the thing: is this supposed to be shadow, or is this what people see when they walk into the Harlan Straker Studios?
This is
right.
It depends on what frame I was on, but it was all shadow. But they don't see shadow; they see the film studio. They see the.
What happens? Like, if you go into the film studio, they actually do have a few mock stages, right? And they do produce a few mock TV shows just to keep the cover up.
Yes, they do make real TV shows that are broadcast on television.
I just want to say, if people are making Star Trek Strange New Worlds to keep off the alien invasion, I'm on the alien side. Just let them come.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I heard there were some hearings about aliens. If they're here,
they're
I'd like
here,
to meet
right.
you. Let's hang out. Let's get a cup of coffee. If you like coffee or whatever.
Well, the aliens in the Delta Quadrant seem to enjoy coffee when given it by Janeway. You're going to find out about that.
Okay, so this is Mr. Coxley. He's got ESP. He's got ESP powers. But unlike Gary Mitchell, he doesn't develop any superpowers beyond that. But these powers seem to give him severe mental breaks. It really stresses him out to know the future events, and his wife doesn't like it much either. It's causing him a bunch of pain, and he can't help not doing it. He knows. So lots of the conversations in these episodes are really strange because it's like he's having a conversation with himself, but he has a premonition of what the other person is going to say. So he answers the question before they ask it. And so that's what's going on here. He's going to the doctor for his wife. His wife wanted him to get some help.
I just want to say I would play a lot of roulette if I had this problem.
That's probably pretty smart. Or blackjack.
Then my wife would be okay with me if I was like, chill, I can see the future, but here's $300,000 that I made while I was tripping out, having a psychotic break today. Can you see your way to loving me one more day? You'd be like, one more day. I can give you one more day.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why James Cassert is saying this. I like my burgers bloody. I don't know. I must have missed something.
A little bit of T-Rex blood, huh?
Yeah.
I love their futuristic clothes. Remember in 1980 where everyone dressed like this?
Oh, yeah. I just noticed your mouse cursor. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I have a video on how you can change you can use it for any kind of, you can turn your mouse cursor into anything you want if you can find the correct files in the web. And I described how in one of my videos.
I got the Stardock stuff that allows you to do that easy too. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And it's good to find one that does an animation so that whenever you're waiting for something and the computer's trying to work, the starship flies.
What's making me sad here is that we haven't gotten to my favorite part of the shadow operation where they have the best uniforms. Jill, you know of which I speak?
Oh, you're talking about the moon base?
No, I'm
No?
wearing the uniform right now. I love the
Oh,
uniforms
the
from
Navy.
the
Yeah,
Shadow
the submarine.
Submarine. Yes. Yeah, all the guys in the Shadow Submarine got great outfits.
Oh my god.
Do we go there? Do we?
No, I'm sorry. We don't have the submarine in this episode. I love that submarine too, especially the little rocket that can take off from underwater and go
Which
up
really
into the.
happens. You can
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah, I don't know why we don't.
You know, it would be more fun, right? It'd be logical because when the rocket got into orbit, it'd be nice and wet. It would help keep it cooler.
Exactly. So basically, right now the UFO is throwing a curveball with its trajectory. It's going zigzaggy. It's very unusual. And it
Right.
actually okay. So the
It's
name
doing
of that.
it's doing something very strange in
Mhm.
this universe. The UFOs very rarely take any kind of evasive action. They're just kind of resigned to the fact that a missile may not hit them.
Right. That's how they have to. That's how they have to survive if they want to make it to Earth for whatever it is they want to do on Earth.
You're
And the
led
name
to
of
believe it's about speed, right? They're just trying to go as
Mhm.
fast as they possibly can, and that's their defense.
Yeah.
That's my in-world explanation.
Well, they do change speeds. It starts off at 1.6. Oops. I have a call. Can you
Godfather,
for
have
just
you
a
Fill in
moment?
noticed
with Lisa Standard?
how
Yes, we can.
beautiful? Have you noticed how beautiful the moon surface looks tonight on this episode of UFO, and how very close they got to making it look like the real moon, where of course we'll be broadcasting from later?
So I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought we were talking about like UFOs or something. Obviously I was mobile, so I couldn't take much of a look. But now that I get that it's a
Oh,
series, it's a TV series, right, or something like that.
it was a TV series from 70 to 72. And it ends up becoming Space 1999, which comes later. Although I
Sweet.
don't think they ever connect the lore outright. Like it's not even really more than the thing is that the shows don't disavow each other, but it seems as though they couldn't get a third season or whatever it might have been of this show off the ground in time for America. So they just took a year off and like rethought their idea into Space 1999, where they recast.
What I like about the old stuff is they actually took time to try to make like, cool intros or in things like even old BSG, for example. They actually tried to make things like by hand. They kind of had no choice a lot of the time, but
This show definitely does
trying to make
that.
the moon looks pretty cool for what you said was 77 or something like that.
No, 1970.
Jeez, man, that's pretty dang good. You think it would look terrible, but even now it doesn't look that bad. This is probably better than a lot of modern stuff now that I think of it, because the CGI stuff has a way of just kind of showing how awful it is or where the flaws are, or you'll have these random points where it's just shiny, like shiny rock for no reason.
I just want to say I'm with Franco Walker on the debate about steaks and burgers. Where are you? How do you like your steaks and burgers, Godfather?
I guess it depends on where I am and how much I trust them to actually cook it to temperature or not. If I don't trust them at all, well done.
Right. Okay. Let's say you're making it yourself in your backyard for the steak, just so
I
people
don't
have an idea
know.
of the range.
I don't
This
know,
is very
maybe
important.
medium rare after being marinated for about 24 hours.
Okay, cool. I tend to like it well done no matter what, but that is I do enjoy a little bit of the braised steak myself, but spirited debate here in the chat about how to eat steak properly. And hey, Stark of Iron, sorry I've been active, everyone, but I'll most likely have an after party after Friday Night Fox. Okay, amazing, everybody. So after Friday Night Follies, Friday Night Frolics, go to Tony's. And it's so nice to see so many people out there. Like Cronus is sticking with us. We got Franco Walker. And we have begun the episode analysis as Jill handles this very pressing matter where she's working out trade issues between members of the European Union. And she's definitely going to be back, so don't worry about it. You're in good hands. Let me describe what we see in front of us. It's the moon, looking very moon-like. I would say it's acting in a way more or less typical of the moon. What do you think, Goatfather?
Apparently, I have been told by the finest redneck scientists out there that money could buy for $1.53 that the moon is made of gray cheese.
And they would be right. But UFOs, on the other hand, they're real. Here's another thing. The Earth is round, but the moon, in fact, is flat. That's the thing that they don't want you to know. People try to tell you that it's round. No way. No, moon. That thing's flat, buddy. But
you gotta know a neat little random. What the hell did I just?
But they did confirm.
Where did it go?
On all channels, they had a hearing in front of like some people in Congress, some of whom are fairly relatively respectable, and people in the military. And this time it was people with decent rank, like a lieutenant colonel who'd seen like 3 UFOs. He's like, yep, got no explanation for it. And they showed like the footage to like a gun, to like the gun cam footage, because they didn't fire on it, but they turned on the wing cameras. At least I don't know that they said that they fired on it.
Am I the only one that just wants to unload on them just to take it?
I always thought that a lot of these UFOs could be best written off to as drones made by our enemies to confuse our military and spy on us. And that would explain why they could be so maneuverable. But now with this new dump of information and the redesignation, UFOs have now been called UAOs. They're unidentified anomalous objects, which to me is like, isn't that saying the same thing twice? Unidentified and anomalous, don't they kind of have like a 80% overlap in meaning?
Let's be honest, UFO sounds cooler and it sells stuff better.
I, for one, welcome our alien overlords and hope that their reign on our Earth will be benevolent. And should you need someone to speak to the people of Earth,
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I saw the mouse move for a second. I was getting excited. Yay, Jill's back.
Captain Fandom Nerd, Kronos, most professional chefs know medium rare is the proper way to have a proper steak. Huh. That's a well-considered opinion. He's probably right. I thought Kronos thought the moon was cheese as well. Yes, correct. We just confirmed that for you. Captain Fandom Nerd, you know better than to ask about the mold. Mold can't grow in a vacuum. That's why the moon is made of cheese, and it's just fine. It's also very cold in space, which has a preservative effect on the flat cheese moon. Tyron Lethbridge, welcome to the chat. If I have a 1-inch steak, 1 minute each side plus max at the hottest possible pan or grill. Rare AF. I only cook my steaks from room temperature too. You know what? Probably a good policy. Tyron Lethbridge sounds like he has a very strong opinion about steak. Never argue with someone about their opinion on steak.
What do you want to bet?
Everywhere.
50-50 chance that the government called Jill. I was like, we heard you're talking about UFOs. You can't be talking about that right now. I know we just admitted it, but you can't talk about it yet.
Kronos, by the way, is right. Mold is everywhere. When they retrieved the camera they left behind on one moon landing on another, when they got it back to Earth, there was some mutant mold based on an earthly mold that went up inside the camera, had continued to grow and was able to survive in there might be a little bit of an atmosphere to the moon. I don't know. Like, it's negligible. It ain't going to help you. But and it's very, very radioactive and, not hospitable to us. Like, you've seen what humans have to do to survive up there, but mold was able to pull it off. There was like some new strain of mutant mold was able to develop out of the earthly mold that went up there. UFO and ufologist. Yes. That is an interesting new term. What do you think of the term ufologist?
I think there's no way you can possibly be one unless you've gone to that town just outside of Area 51. The town's name that eludes me, but it's got like
Roswell,
I don't know if it's that one or the other one. It's got like a little
El
museum
Toro,
and stuff.
El
It's got
Toro.
like the Alien Inn and the place you eat for breakfast or whatever. The names are eluding
I'm
me
pretty
right now.
sure it's Roswell. I'm pretty sure it's Roswell, but maybe chat knows.
Yeah, you can't be one until you've gone there. That's my opinion.
I've seen The Thing, Cronus. Love The Thing. I did, and I'm one of the few people who likes The Thing, who doesn't absolutely despise the prequel. But I thought it was like respectful of The Thing. But maybe I need to see it again because a lot of people have strong opinions against it.
Speaking of, I've actually thought of, because apparently at Area 51, the gate, they have this big sign that says no drones. So what I've been tempted to do, although it would be a very long trip to get there, is take my drone with me and just hold it up in front of the sign. They probably won't have an issue with it, but at the same time, I really don't want to find out.
It's kind of a cool act of defiance that could get you like thrown in federal prison for like 3 to 7 years.
I mean,
That's
if the
the problem with
battery's
that.
out and stuff, I don't know if they're overly literal.
I don't know if they'll be
Or-
overly truthful
yeah.
about prosecuting people who want to mess with them either. They're like, don't come near our alien experimentation base. Didn't you see Independence Day? Don't you know how important it is that this base remain unobserved?
Well, the number one rule is you do not cross the line for any reason, because it doesn't matter if you drive back down that street, you're going to jail.
I've walked through areas that were supposed to be like forbidden, but not deeply, like on the edge of it. Where I grew up, out on the edge of
movement.
At the edge.
Oh my
Hey.
goodness, they had.
Hey, hello. How are you guys
even
doing?
back then?
Thank you so much for filling in that space for me. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out while I had to step away for that call.
No problem. It was our pleasure.
I'm glad you guys could be here. So some plans have changed. I've got to get through this episode pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I got to get through it pretty quick.
That doesn't sound good. If you need to do something, I would go do it.
Yeah, well, I do, but I really like this episode. I want to talk about it a little bit.
Right.
I guess I don't really have too much to even say about it. They try to hit the UFO. They think they hit it because of the signals that come back tell them that they hit it. But it turns out that the UFO tricked them somehow with their new maneuvers, and they get through Earth's defenses, and the UFO's headed to, of course, it's headed to England because it's just always where the UFOs end up landing. And
Stonehenge.
yeah. So then, oh yeah, and then we have Cat. I like this cat. So the UFO is going to land in Europe. What else happens?
Now, I just want to say, I wish we could have had a richer, browner jacket for Straker, but the cream white is still acceptable. Technically, still an earth tone. Jill, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm totally fine with it. And I want to say hello to Tony.
So we're 1/4 of the way there. Where's the car? Where's the smoking? Where's the bar?
Oh, right. We'll get there, hopefully. And everybody's talking about how they like their burgers and their steaks. Yeah, most people like their steaks different than their burgers. I like my burgers not exactly well done, but not pink like I like my steaks.
I like that the UFOs are like alien biker gangs that come here to like mess with us. That's cool, Mark Harkness. That's a good thought.
Yeah. Franco Walker says, put a poll to see if everyone is fine with you leaving now due to a crisis. Well, it's not exactly a crisis. It's like a crisis of grandma wants the baby to go to the beach.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be something horrible like, Jill, you're the only worker at the nuclear reactor today. It's getting hot. You got to come here now. But I want to do my UFO thing.
I got to do a UFO show. You're going to have to deal with the meltdown yourself.
Pour salt into the reactor? What?
Is it really unpleasantly warm where you are today?
Yeah, I'm in South Texas, so that's every day.
Oh, when I was in the South Texas town of El Paso, well, that's a whole other story. But it's hot here too.
Mhm.
It's finally got hot here too. We were lucky for a long time, but now the Northeast is really hot as well.
Yeah, but not so lucky is Coxley's Mrs. Coxley. She's the UFO crashes into her house and it kills her. But
Oh,
her cat gets premonition of it and runs into the other room. The cat survives.
that's
Not
what
the lady.
counts.
Yeah, right.
Did he just get tranked down by angry neighbors, or did Shadow grab him?
No, he was trying to
My
get through,
mind.
but Shadow was blocking his way to his house because they knew the UFO was coming in this direction. And
Oh,
he knew something was going to happen to his wife. He knew
is that
she was going to get a visitor.
is that our pal Alan who's giving him the Vulcan mind meld? Is it my mind to your mind?
No, he just
I couldn't.
had,
Was that Paul?
no, was that Paul?
It was
No,
Alan.
Paul's in the Moonmobile. The other guy is some other guy, some security guy.
Okay, some
Jeffrey.
guy.
I have
Jeffrey.
no idea his name.
What was his name? Is Jeffrey. For
No, I
purposes
don't
of
know.
our no, hey, now we got two. We got two of the things that I need for a good UFO episode. There, ladies and gentlemen, in all its magnificence, Straker's car.
Mhm. Yeah, did they even show it? I guess they did.
We did see it, and we heard that great Shadow music.
Oh yeah. Well done. And they
Thank
have
you.
to go. They're going to investigate for the first time. Right after the crash, only Straker talks to Mr. Coxley, and so he sees something weird about him, that he has these kind of premonitions, that he knows what he's going to say before he says it.
People from that era, when they made sci-fi stuff, they really liked turtlenecks.
Yeah.
Well, for them, they're writing a show that takes place in their future of 1980, and it's kind of idealized, and we have a little more tech than 1980 did. Now another beautiful,
Definitely.
beautiful Straker suit. Straker here, just absolutely looking great. He's bucking the trend of earth tone outfits, but blue, nautical, beautiful, looking great. Turtleneck, almost Deep Space Nine, almost Cisco's office here.
It's nice with his eyes, but I could see why you say Cisco. He is playing with the ball.
He's absolutely playing with the ball. And also, I apologize to everyone who I misled with my mistaken belief that was a wig. What happened was he was so dedicated to his part, he was bleaching his hair all the time, so he'd never have roots. So it's like doll hair.
And okay. So during the crash, Paul Foster also was injured, and presumptively his co-driver died. But we didn't really talk too much about that.
Yeah. Is his last name McCartney? Is that why people think that Paul McCartney is dead?
Paul Foster.
You see, I don't know. I think there's a connection there. There's Straker's car again. Wow, this is turning out to be a great episode. If he uses the bar next, oh my God. Just take out one of those tiny cigarettes, please, please, Straker. And there he's really, really working that slate gray suit that looks great. He looks great.
Well, Paul Foster, he always looks great to me. You can have clothes on.
I'm talking about this current iteration of Straker's outfit, where he's got this gray suit, charcoal. I guess it's a little more chocolatey gray. I don't know. It's really cool, and he knows that he likes to have coffee with his toast. Let's have a small cigarette, shall we, Straker?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If I knew you were, yeah, okay. He does have a small cigarette, but
we
that's
are now up to
Alex
3
Freeman.
of 4 things.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, Straker gets this envelope. He thinks it's a film script, but it turns out, did he look at it? Yeah. It turns out that it's actually all the information on Shadow and everything. So this guy, he got the premonition from Paul Foster himself somehow, and figured out everything that Shadow is about.
Our psychic pal did this.
Yes, our psychic.
Oh, by the way, look at that! Yet another car. That would be Alan's car, I guess.
No, this is Paul Foster's car. He's got a purple
that's
car.
Paul. So yeah, like champagne pink, purple, maybe. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is. I like that. If I had a UFO car, it would be that one. I like the purple.
I like his car a lot too. And Straker here just working the Nehru. Everybody's working the Nehru hard.
Sorry about that. I was trying to do something.
Didn't realize you were muted. I was wondering what was going on.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I should have said something. I was trying to say something to my son.
So
They
he had his little cigarette right there, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah. I forgot.
See, could just pause it there for a moment so we can enjoy the glory. This is Ed Straker, head of Shadow. Okay, he's protecting the entire human race. He's earned that cigarette. Okay, he's got a lot of pressure at his job. He's got to keep us all safe. Okay, Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
German Dr. Evil.
Oh.
Now Straker is, he's a workaholic type, highly dedicated. This has destroyed a marriage on him, and he has a hard time connecting with his son, but it means a lot to him. So we've seen him
his son. His son is on.
Oh, his son is in this one?
No, his son's lost.
In
a previous episode, he's died.
So Straker has known nothing but pain for protecting us all. This man is a hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Essentially.
Why is there no high school named
he's
after
made
Ed Straker?
Incredible sacrifices, personal sacrifices.
His ex-wife.
This is how we know the cat survived.
Yeah, that made me feel good.
Yeah, me too.
Also, like, his wife can never know the truth about why he's such a bad and distant father.
Yeah, exactly. That's why their marriage ended so quickly.
Yeah, Strakers know nothing but pain. He cares about nothing but saving humanity from these low-life UFOs. But here comes our psychic, and I think he's got a little surprise for Straker.
Yeah, he does. This is the best part of the episode here. This is the reason why I'm doing this review, even though I'm having to do it quickly for the fact that I have to go. But yes, this is pretty great. It's not just that he's a psychic either. It's that the aliens have been using his mind for certain purposes, and they've influenced him. A UFO destroyed your house, not me. It was part of a carefully laid plan. The aliens, they've taken over your mind. They killed your wife. They're using you. Can't you see why? They're using you to kill us. And so that's some new information for him. He didn't see it that way before. Even though he's psychic, he didn't get everything quite right.
Now, I like that Straker has chosen to be informal here, and he's opened up his jacket, showing that at least his jacket seems to be Velcro.
I do appreciate that you like the fashion.
I think that he looks great, and I wish that I had a closet full of suits just like Straker's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like that right now.
That's pretty rad. But then we learned something chilling, amazing, very interesting about the aliens. Remember, I'm watching this series for the very first time, so this is all very exciting to me. All I knew before were bits and pieces from previous episodes that the UFOs are harvesting organs from humans, and so they can't be all that well-intentioned. And here we have an alien influencing Coxley to kill Straker and Freeman, so they're not all that peaceful either. But in this episode, we see that it isn't out of evil, but out of desperation that they're doing all of these things. We discover that the aliens are not only sick and having to steal organs, but their planet is also dying, and they depleted their natural.
You can see how the two could be related, right? Their planet's like toxic, their atmosphere might be messed up, and they seem to be slightly aquatic because when we open up their space helmet, there's liquid in there.
Absolutely, yes. They require that liquid in order to survive on our world. And as soon as they lose that liquid, they have limited time left of survival.
Think Aquaman here, people.
Aquaman.
The DC, the one with Jason Momoa.
Oh, yeah, but Aquaman can... I don't know anything about it.
Only the royal family can breathe outside the water. Everyone else has to wear a watery spacesuit.
Oh, wow. Okay. Comic book knowledge learned here. I need to
It
brush
might
up
be
on all of my
that might be
facts.
movie specific, to be honest
I
with
don't
you. I
know.
only know what I watched the movie the other day,
You know
and
more than
I
I do
gotta
on that.
say, it's not very great.
But here he says we must. Okay, so he's saying this, but it's the alien saying it. We must come to Earth. We must come to Earth to survive. So that's why they're invading Earth, because they're desperate to survive. Their planet is no longer tenable for them to live on their planet. And it reminds me a lot of War of the Worlds, except for the Martians never said the following statement.
It reminds me of Independence Day, which comes much later, but they say this exactly, except the next part is absolutely the reverse. But you know what's weird is what Straker needs to say now is what the president says in Independence Day. It's like, can there be a peace between us? There's much we can learn. That's the rejoinder to this statement. But I think he's like, tell me more about yourself, you nasty, horrible UFOs. I don't remember this one too well. I don't think he's too cool about the negotiation.
He's not as cool as he should be about it, because we learn a very interesting thing here, because despite actually invading and doing harm to Earthlings, they mean no harm. So their intention is survival. Their intention is not to destroy all of Earth.
But they will ruthlessly kidnap you and take your vital organs, which you can't survive without. They mean no harm. They're just not going to die on anybody's watch.
Yeah, we mean no harm to the people of Earth. Why do you attack us?
We just need your brains.
We're fighting for existence. You must understand.
Fighting for our right to live, to exist.
That's all we get. That's all we get from the aliens in this episode. And that is pretty incredible. I think that is good stuff.
Croxley regained control of his own mind, which is funny to hear if you're me, because there's a place called Croxley Ale not too far away.
Right, because
Croxley Ale House.
At the end there, Croxley would have had the premonition that Paul Foster was about to kill him. And
wow. Sorry.
He allowed it to happen.
I'm just so excited that late in the episode, we're doing the final thing. We've turned on the electronic bar and we're going to have a future drink. And now it is a complete episode of UFO. They have done every single important thing to me to do. And this episode, 10 out of 5 stars. Just one of the best things I've seen in a while.
It is a very good UFO episode. I watched a couple that were not as good. And this one is probably an A+ kind of level episode. It really gets me going. I wish I would have had more time to go through this a little more slowly, because there was some really great stuff here with the episode. But I just wanted to get to the crux of it, the biggest important thing, the reveal of the aliens, some of the aliens' intentions. But as Kronos says, my brains are not for sale. And so that's why Shadow must continue and protect Earth from the UFOs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm Straker, I'm like, look, we can work this out. There's a place called Pitcairn Island. Go there first. We'll set up a medical facility. we can process you. I mean, like, seriously, this is like not that big of a deal as far as if there's a UN. Like, okay, your planet's fucked up. We have an ocean. Do you promise not to fuck it up? Can you stop kidnapping people? Because this is a real threat. And how they're keeping this from the public at this point is beyond me, because we see a lot of shadow assets deployed.
Just because they're aquatic doesn't necessarily mean they thrive in our oceans. But that's an interesting idea. That's very creative. That's a creative thought.
It's my in-world explanation.
As Tony Stark would understand, you do not touch the ocean on Earth if you have a UFO. Picture related.
But anyhow,
this show is certainly much more important now than it was earlier in the week, because there are UFOs. The government has confirmed it. It must be true.
Well, there are definitely unidentified. There's always been unidentified flying objects, but whether or not that means
described chariots of fire.
Here, I don't know. Let me take them out for dinner, and so I can see that they're aliens.
Oh, I hope they brought back Elvis.
James Caserta says Stark's job is watching the chicken coop. Stark? Okay. I didn't know Tony had chickens.
Or does he mean the word in the other sense, the chicken coup? Like, are all these chickens about to try to overthrow the animal farm? Because that has good narrative potential. I could see a book about animals taking over their farm doing well.
Yeah. Captain Fandom Nerd says most professional chefs know medium rare is the proper way to have a proper steak. Ooh, I like medium rare.
He's correct.
Mark Harkness says UFOs are alien biker gangs come to screw with the dumb yokels in the Kansas of galactic geography.
Yeah, we're the hillbillies of the galaxy. It's true.
Well, no wonder they always land in rural England.
Let's go mess with the hairless apes today. It'll be fun.
Yeah. On their planet, the dolphins were the monkeys. They're like so much smarter than us. That's why they have like the water spacesuits.
Oh man, this is shout out to King Dolphin TV.
Yeah, that's my shout out. You see how cleverly I did that? I put it in there right in the branding of UFO. Jill, you are a genius for milking that joke out of that. That's why I love working with Jill. She is the best.
Oh, thank you. And I wish I had more time to spend with y'all, but I do have to go. I want to just scroll through the chat here. I'm so happy you guys all came to join me, Tony and Donnie and James Caserta. And I really appreciate everybody spending time here on a Friday.
We're going to answer Jill's chats on Saving Star Trek. We'll do the super chat checkup. You just get the answers from me.
Right? No, I would stay here for another 2 hours reading all these chats if I could, because I have some of the really the best, most interesting kinds of conversations on here. We have culinary geniuses in the chat talking about all of the different ways they love their steaks and their food, and it's always fun when things turn into a food stream, because as I've always heard Clobby say during when he used to have his global geeking, he said geeks and nerds have to eat too.
There you go.
Matt G says Joe has to go. Olive Garden is calling.
No, it's the beach, or as they say in the native land of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, La Plage.
Yeah, my mom needs her grandchildren, so that's a very important thing. So I gotta go. Family.
Why not just
do what you need to do?
You can't just beam them over there. Just put them on the transporter. Put them on the transporter, right? I don't know about you, Jill, but I store my son in the Heisenberg in the compensator in the transporter buffer for when I need him. I only reactivate my kid to take him to Little League games and put him back in.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
I'm like Dr. Banga. I can't with Jill. You know what? That's a dark secret that you're going to have to watch my show to find out.
That's ridiculous.
Cliffhanger. Yeah, that is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in Star Trek. And
yeah, let me take you out so I can read you the same story over and over and over again, so that for all of eternity, all you're doing is reading this story endlessly.
I know you're pressed for time. I just want to say this very quickly. On every Star Trek show until New Trek, we seem to have gone run the table with, even if the show wasn't so good. I'm not crazy about Deep Space Nine, but I love Bashir. Some people do not like Enterprise, but Phlox, a home run. Some people have issues with the Voyager, but the EMH's journey is amazing. Maybe better than Data's. Maybe
if you got Star Trek from 66 to 2005, I'm going to find something to love about it in some form or fashion.
Too. Same here.
And even if I have some episodes that I'm going to nitpick a bit, it doesn't matter. It's
oh my God, isn't it great? Isn't it great to have debates about Star Trek that make sense? I'm not sure about Warp 10 because we don't get it on screen. Those kind of interesting arguments that we used to have where it was merely a difference of opinion and a debate and people would make observations and comment instead of yelling and getting out of control. Because you can't lay down a lot of hard, fast rules. Some people will say nothing that's not on screen is real or canon, and then say that Will Decker is Matt Decker's son. Well, that's just not true. They simply have the same name by the rule you've simply laid down before. So really, let's be real here. It's a little bit fluid. It's not as simple as what they say.
Even that, though, even though I will I do follow the line that if it's not on screen, it's not canon. But I have fun with the idea of the theories of, hey, this is what happened, and someone said that this is the case. So
I feel that the reason why people who are literalists, anti-book literalists, will go with that one is because it's the only book Gene writes. So how could it be wrong? It has to be canonical.
Gene and Alan Dean Foster, right?
He's the only person on the cover when I looked at it on Amazon yesterday when questioned, but it looks like it says the only Star Trek novel written by Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry, and there are no other appellations, which doesn't mean if you open it up, it doesn't say they did. But I don't know. This one, it doesn't seem like he's sharing it.
She's got to go, man.
Yeah, I do have to go, but there was an important question that was asked. It says it was written by Gene Roddenberry. You're right.
I couldn't find any other appellation.
Hey, Mitchell, go help your family do the things.
Yeah, I do. I know. I
There
gotta
are
go
other
help
times.
my
You're
family.
good.
There are other times. Who ghost? Yeah, I'm pretty okay. Did anybody ghost write the motion picture novel? I was thinking it was Alan Dean Foster, but it could be someone else or nobody.
People ghostwrite for more money and no credit too. So we just there's no way to know. Like it's not, it's possible. The only way to know is if someone said it and it's confirmed.
Yeah. Okay. See here. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, novel by Gene Roddenberry, Harold Livingston, Alan Dean Foster, published by Simon and Schuster, 1979. Okay, so now I feel like I've done something, and now everybody have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you guys again, hopefully for a longer period next time, and I'll be able to stay a little longer next time. But today is a very important day for my children. They're going to have some fun, and I'm going to have some fun too. And I hope you guys also have some fun today. Have a great day. And
see you next time.
Check out Saving Star Trek. Check out Cloudburn Times tomorrow. Saturday Night Star Trek. Check out Doomcock tonight, and maybe Tony after. And just have a really great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye now.
Ciao.
Peace.
Oh, and here's if Canadian Spider-Man is still in the chat, remember that you wanted to be on the next original series review episode. So the next original series episode we're watching is season 2, A Private Little War, and Canadian Spider-Man should be our guest host. And so I'll play the trailer for that. Bye, guys.
Captain's log, stardate 4211.4. I have elected to violate orders and make contact with planet inhabitants here.
You will not help your friend and brother, kill them instead?
No!
Hit you? No, I can't.
Last you strike me. Harder! Jim, that means you're condemning this whole planet to a war that may never end. It could go on for year after year, massacre after massacre. All right, Doctor!
Your pain and mine, only mine. Return! He is mine now.
It's all real. Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I've been acting for 35 years. 135 credits on IMDb. I was in a long-running series. You might remember it. Star Trek. But all I'm known for is combing the desert and saying, we ain't found shit.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.